Mayor, I'd like to call the regular meeting of the Elmwood Park Mayor and Council for February 20th, 2014 to order at 8:05 p.m. On roll call, council members Coletti.
Here.
Dombrowski.
Here.
Martino.
Here.
Pedagano.
Here.
Monsino.
Here.
Caramagna.
Here.
Mayor Mola.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Will everyone please rise for our flag salute? Oh God, our Father, we ask you to bless our meeting, which we trust to your fatherly care and protection. Please remove all selfishness and prejudice from our hearts and plant therein the keen sense of justice and the greater love for you and our neighbor. Guide us in our deliberations so our decisions will always please you and bring peace and happiness to our community. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Whereas Chapter 231, the Public Law of the State of New Jersey requires the commencement of every meeting a statement by the presiding officer, now therefore be advised the meeting requirements of this meeting have been met by publishing an annual notice in the Record of Hackensack, the Herald News of Woodland Park, and by posting such notice in the office of the Borough Clerk as well as in a public place within the municipal building, and by notifying interested citizens. Said notice was posted on January 1, 2014. Ladies and gentlemen, this meeting will be on cable television, channel 77, Tuesday 12 noon, Thursday 4 p.m., and Friday at 11 a.m. That's channel 77, Tuesday 12 noon, Thursday 4 p.m., and Friday 11 a.m. And I do want to tell everyone here that this will be a 6 months notification. Cablevision requires us to hand this in every 6 months, and they can give us different times. So we have to wait for that to happen. Okay? Mr. Casmark?
Mayor, at this time we have the approval of minutes from the January 9th, 2014 work session, January 9th, 2014 executive session, and the January 23rd, 2014 executive session.
Motion, please, on all three. If you have to abstain, just let us know which one.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Mr. Dombrowski, second by Mr. Vocino. Discussion? Call the roll.
On roll call, council members Coletti.
Yes.
Dombrowski.
Yes.
Martino.
Yes.
Pedagano.
Yes.
Monsino.
Yes.
Caramagna.
Yes.
Motion carries. Mayor, this evening under ordinances on first reading, we have Resolution R5214, introduce ordinance 14-01 on first reading. Be it resolved that an ordinance entitled An Ordinance to Amend the Current Building Subcode Fees for the Borough of Elmwood Park, Chapter 10, be passed and adopted on first reading, and be it resolved that final hearing on said ordinance will be heard in the municipal building on March 6, 2014 at 8 p.m. or soon thereafter, as the same can be heard, at which time and place all persons interested in said ordinance will be heard. Be it further resolved that the Borough Clerk be and is hereby authorized to advertise in a legal newspaper a notice of introduction and final hearing as required by law. We'll need a motion. No. We'll need a motion to introduce the ordinance.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Mr. Vocino, second.
Second.
Mr. Martino?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Any discussion? This ordinance is just to work with our fees, the building department. We are now having a shared services agreement with Fairlawn, and we're putting the fees, taking some of their highs and some of our lows, and some of our lows and some of their highs, and trying to make it all regular. Okay? So that's what we're doing here. Call the roll, please.
On roll call, council members Coletti.
Yes.
Dombrowski.
Yes.
Martino.
Yes.
Pedagano.
Yes.
Monsino.
Yes.
Caramagna.
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolution R53-14, introduce ordinance 14-03 on first reading. Be it resolved that an ordinance entitled a bond ordinance to authorize the undertaking of various improvements to English Avenue Park in, by, and for the Borough of Elmwood Park in the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $200,000 to pay the cost thereof, to make a down payment to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such an appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in the anticipation of the issuance of such bonds, be passed and adopted on first reading. And whereas final hearing on said ordinance will be heard in the municipal building on Thursday, March 6, 2014 at 8 p.m. or soon thereafter, as same can be heard, at which time and place all persons interested in said ordinance can be heard. Be it further resolved that the Borough Clerk be, and he is hereby authorized to advertise in a legal newspaper a notice of introduction and final hearing as required by law.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Mr. Vocino, second.
I second.
Mr. Caramagna, any discussion? Call the roll,
Yeah,
please.
I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Before we make a vote, I'd like to
make it publicly known that I've made it known to my council members here that this particular resolution includes the base for a street hockey rink located down in English Avenue Park. I have some concerns about a street hockey rink being placed down at English Avenue Park, not so much being placed anywhere in town, but particularly English Avenue Park, because I feel that it's going to be very difficult for monitoring because English Avenue Park is off the main street. In order for the police to get down there, they have to go off 54th Street, drive specifically down all the way down to the end of the street, plus the fact that there's only 3 homes, or 4 if I may, Mr. Mayor, that actually would face the location of this street hockey rink. And I feel that it would be better served if it were in a park such as Elmwood Park off of Elmwood Drive, maybe Birchwood Park. Again, you have, it's easier to police, you could see what's going on. So tonight I am going to vote yes because I don't want to lose the money, but I want everybody to understand that I have some concerns about where this particular street hockey rink is being placed.
Thank you. Call the roll, please.
On roll call, council members Coletti?
Yes.
Dombrowski?
Yes.
Martino?
Yes.
Pettigano?
Yes.
Bonsino?
Yes.
Caramagna?
Yes.
Mayor, if I may, I just want to clarify on this. This bond ordinance will not provide the borough any additional new debt. This will all be paid for by the Bergen County Open Space Trust Fund Grant Program in addition to the trust fund. However, we finance it through a bond ordinance on the advice of bond counsel.
Thank you. By the way, if the bid comes in higher, we may not have to worry about your question.
So true.
Resolution 54-14, introduce ordinance 14-04 on first reading. Be it resolved that an ordinance entitled An Ordinance to Amend Chapter 11-5 of the Code of the Borough of Elmwood Park entitled Registration of Guests of Motels, Hotels, and Guest Lodges be passed and adopted on first reading. Be it resolved that a final hearing on said ordinance will be heard in the municipal building on Thursday, March 6, 2014 at 8 p.m. or soon thereafter as same can be heard, at which time and place all persons interested in said ordinance can be heard. Be it further resolved that the Borough Clerk be and he is hereby authorized to advertise in a legal newspaper a notice of introduction and final hearing as required by law.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Mr. Caramagna, second.
Second.
Mr. Boncino, discussion. Call the roll, please.
On roll call, council members Coletti?
Yes.
Dombrowski?
Yes.
Martino?
Yep.
Pettigano?
Yes.
Bonsino?
Yes.
Caramagna?
Yes.
Motion carries. Mayor, this evening under the consent agenda, we have Resolution 55-14, confirmation of prepaid checks, Resolution 56-14, payment of bills, Resolution 57-14, confirmation of escrow checks, Resolution 58-14, confirmation of payroll, Resolution 59-14, resolution to refund credit balance on Block 1711, Lot 13, Resolution 60-14, redeem road opening performance bond permit 10-15. Resolution 61-14, redeem road opening performance bond permit 10-13. Resolution 62-14, approve request for the all-purpose room for the North Jersey Community Center of the Deaf. Resolution 63-14, change order 1 and final for improvements to Orange Avenue. Resolution 64-14, authorize coin toss dates for Defender Company Number 2. Resolution 65-14, authorize service agreement with Rogat McCarthy LLC, Bond Counsel. Resolution 66-14, authorize service agreement with Municipal Inspection Corporation for the purposes of elevator inspections. Resolution 67-14, designate representative to community development. Resolution 68-14, award bid for street sweeper to Timmerman Equipment Company. Resolution 76-14, emergency water repair, Boulevard and Washington Avenue. And Resolution 77-14, a resolution to refund tax overpayments due to the county board judgments. And Mayor, I'll just make note to the council that 76 and 77 are out of order because they were added to the agenda today.
Any question? Now you have a resolution. Motion, please.
So moved.
Mr. Pettigano, second.
Second.
Mr. Dombrowski, discussion. Call the roll, please.
On roll call, council members Coletti?
Yes.
Dombrowski?
Yes.
Martino?
Yes.
Pettigano?
Yes.
Bonsino?
Yes.
Caramagna?
Yes.
Motion carries. Moving on to appointments. Resolution 69-14, appointment of Borough Engineer. Be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Elmwood Park that the appointment of Alimo Engineering as Borough Engineer for a period of 1 year, term ending December 31st, 2014 be, and the same is hereby confirmed.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Kennemanya and
I'll second it.
Dombrowski. Discussion?
I would like to discuss this appointment, Mr. Mayor. A few weeks back on January 2nd, when we were making our appointments, my counterparts from the Republican side questioned why we were making this change from Boswell to Alimo. And we explained at the time that we did our due diligence. We interviewed each of the candidates. We even did an interview on Christmas Eve, and we made our decision based upon the facts and the due diligence. I understand that Boswell has been our engineer for 39 years, okay, if not more. Maybe there was a couple-year gap in between there, and they've done a very good job for this town. Nobody's questioning that. But what we did find is that the savings that we were about to, let me step back. We mentioned that we would save the town approximately somewhere around 10%, based upon going with the new engineer. And I did some numbers, and this is all factual information. Anybody can Oprah the information. The project manager currently from Boswell, we would be charged $181 an hour. Under the new terms, under Alimo, we will be charged $140 an hour, which is a 22% savings. I'm sorry, that was project manager. Project engineer, we were being charged $173 an hour. Alimo will be charging us $150 an hour, which is a 13% savings. Senior engineer, we get charged $165 from Boswell. We'll be paying $160 from Alimo, which is a 3% savings. CAD design, which is a very big part of any kind of plan. You need to have your CAD designers. It's $156 from Boswell and $105 from Alimo, which is a 33% savings to the community. Survey analysis. Every project has to have a survey team. And Boswell charges us currently $173 an hour, and Alimo will be $115 an hour, which is a 34% savings to the community. And then, of course, after the project is all done, you have an inspector come in, and the inspector from Boswell charges us $149 an hour, and Alimo charges us $105. That'll be a 30% savings. So, as I said to you, our council on January 2nd, that we hope to save at least 10%. I think by the numbers in which I'm stating here, you will see that the savings will be greater than 10%. I think we're being very cautious by saying 10%, but I believe that it will be greater. I'm confident that Alimo will do a great job for us. They're also borough engineer in Haledon, borough engineer in East Rutherford, borough engineer in Dumont. They've won numerous awards for certain projects by the municipality's organization of engineers. I'm very confident, and I'm looking forward to working with the new engineer. So I did promise that I would come to the community and to the public and explain why we're making these changes. It is not because of a political, the Democrats could do this because we have the power. That's not it, ladies and gentlemen. We're doing it because we need to save the community every penny that we can. We have a school referendum that's going to cost us more money this year. We need that for our town, okay? And it is up to us to make sure that we're trying to save the town every penny. And before anybody says, well, what happens if Boswell takes 1 hour to do the job when Alimo does 2 hours, it takes 2 hours? That's all been taken into consideration because every project will have not to exceed X amount of dollars at the bottom of every project. And if it does exceed, then they have to come to us and ask for a change. And of course, at that point, if we see that that's happening, this is again a 1-year appointment. If we feel that the town is not getting its due diligence, we will make a change again in a year. Okay, we're not making a 3-year commitment to any engineer. We're not making any 3-year commitment to any professional in our appointments. So I just wanted to make everybody aware of why we did what we're doing. It's not because we didn't like a specific engineer. I believe that we believe that we are saving the community money and making this change.
Thank you. Anyone else want to be heard? No one else? I just like to indicate that in the last 5 months, Pete Tenkate, who represents Boswell Engineering with us, saved $100,000 by going to the various people that he's acquainted with in community development, and we got that money, $100,000. I wonder how long that's going to take the new engineer to save. And I just want to go into it. You alluded to it, Mr. Dombrowski, about taking 2 hours at $50 an hour, or taking 3 hours, or whatever it is. You can work those figures around. Just work more, you get paid more. Now, you mentioned something to the extent that not to exceed. Mr. Dombrowski, I've been in government for many years. When somebody comes in and says, listen, I'm about to go over my quota, and the project is only 3/4 way done, if I don't get more money, what do? We end up giving them more money. Not only here, Bergen County, where I was a freeholder, that's the way it does. That's the way it happens. And everybody goes along with it. I wish them luck. I wish them the new firm handles the job well. And I wish that Pete Tenkate would still be here, because he knows every pipe, every sewer, every catch basin in town after being with us for over 25 years. And of course, some of the items you mentioned, at 10% here, at 20% there, you're talking sometimes $3, $4 more an hour. So I think we are wrong in changing Boswell. I think you could have talked to him and worked some of this out. Call the roll, please.
On roll call, council members Coletti,
Abstain?
Dombrowski,
Yes.
Martino,
Yes.
Pettigano,
Yes.
Bonsino,
Abstain.
Catamania.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Just if I may comment, we changed a couple of years back to T&M. It was a disaster. If we can save $100,000, which has been done, that's a lot of money that's been saved. Next item.
Resolution R70-14, appointment of Special Projects Engineer. Be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Elmwood Park that the appointment of Boswell McClave Engineering as Special Projects Engineer for a period of 1 year, term ending December 31st, 2014 be, and the same is hereby confirmed.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Mr. Dombrowski, Mr. Pettigano, excuse me, Mr. Martino. Any discussion?
Yes, Mayor, if I may. I'm a little confused here. We're hiring this new firm to be the town engineer, but yet on special projects, we're hiring Boswell Engineering. Now, are they more costly or less costly? What is the reason for splitting these two different items? Maybe one of my colleagues can explain that to me.
Sure, certainly, Councilman. It's a valid question, and the reason why we're bringing Boswell in as our special projects is because there's currently there's projects already going on in town that Boswell is part of. We certainly don't want them to stop. So if we bring in a new engineer, we would generally have to stop. But we're going to allow Boswell to finish the project that they currently have drawings for as of today. Anything in the future will go to the new. But Boswell has been retained only, basically to complete what is currently under the going on.
Thank you. Any other comments? Call the roll, please.
On roll call, council members Coletti,
Yes,
Dombrowski,
Yes.
Martino,
Yes.
Pettigano,
Yes.
Bonsino,
Yes.
Catamania.
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolution 71-14, appointment of Borough Prosecutor. Be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Elmwood Park that the appointment of Elizabeth J. Cruces, Esquire, as Borough Prosecutor for a period of 1 year, term ending December 31st, 2014, be, and the same is hereby confirmed.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Mr. Dombrowski, second.
Second.
Mr. Pettigano, discussion? How much is the new prosecutor going to be earning?
The same exact salary as the prosecutor of 2013.
And that is,
That's not including the increase for 2014. That number is 17 and change, I think.
okay. Any comments? I have a couple of comments about this. This is the Violations Department, the Borough Prosecutor. He was appointed 6 years ago by the Democratic majority. We appointed him as a Republican majority every year since then. Talked to the Violations Department, talked to the judge, doing a great job. Keep him. I kept him. And the Republican council kept him, because he was doing a good job. The county judges come in and they evaluate our prosecutor. For the 6 years he was here, A+ evaluations every year. He was given a 2% raise last year. And we're firing him this year. Shouldn't have given him a raise last year. As I said, he's been here 6 years. He was appointed by the Democrats. Mr. Caramagna was on the council at the time. Now he's not any good. I think that's wrong. I think it's wrong that we're not the national government. Stay away from the Violations Department. Just use them. We have someone sitting in the audience who used to be our police chief, and at one time, we earned over $1 million with tickets being handed out and everything else, and he was the prosecutor at the time. That's a lot of money to take care of and to move on the docket. They have the right, the Democratic majority has the right, no question, to appoint somebody new. My comment is simply, if it's not broken, don't fix it. It's the Violations Department. The only thing we can happen is get in trouble by switching people around and having accusations made. I wish you would think that over. And by the way, this young lady is the alternate prosecutor, as appointed earlier this year. Now she's going to take over the job that she was alternate on. Maybe I haven't been involved that long, but it seems as if she's going after her boss. Call a roll, please.
On roll call, council members Coletti,
Abstain?
Dombrowski,
Yes.
Martino,
Yes.
Pettigano.
Yes.
Bonsino,
Abstain.
Catamagna.
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolution
Mr.
7.
Kaczmarek, I know Mr. Dombrowski mentioned something about salary. And when you get a chance, just give us the actual salary on that.
Mayor, just to clarify, the salaries were approved by resolution, by ordinance, I should say, in December. We have not set the 2014 salaries for these positions yet because we have not introduced a salary ordinance. Customarily, that's not at the end of the year.
Well, then
So the salaries that were approved by the mayor and council in December would stand for these current appointments.
That's approximately $18,000, including the 2% raise. Thank you.
Resolution 72-14, appointment of alternate borough prosecutor. Be it resolved by the mayor and council of the Borough of Elmwood Park that the appointment of Mark Fierro, Esquire, as alternate borough prosecutor for a period of 1 year, term ending December 31st, 2014 be, and the same is hereby confirmed.
Motion, please.
So move.
Mr. Catamagna, second. Mr. Martino, any discussion? I would just like a resume of the gentleman. I have no idea who he is. Call a roll, please.
On roll call, council members Coletti,
Abstain?
Dombrowski,
Yes.
Martino,
Yes.
Pettigano.
Yes.
Bonsino,
Abstain.
Catamagna.
Yes.
Motion carries. Moving on to appointments to various boards and mandated resolutions. Resolution 73-14, appointment of Board of Health member. Be it resolved by the mayor and council of the Borough of Elmwood Park that the appointment of Clarissa Proctor to the Board of Health for a period of 3 years, term ending December 31st, 2016 be, and the same is hereby confirmed.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Mr. Pettigano, second by Mr. Martino. Discussion? Call a roll, please.
On roll call, council members Coletti,
Abstain?
Dombrowski,
Yes.
Martino,
Yes.
Pettigano,
Yes.
Bonsino,
Yes.
Catamagna.
Yes.
Can
Motion
we
carries.
have a resume on that young lady, too, please?
Motion carries. Resolution R74-14, appointment of Board of Adjustment member. Be it resolved by the mayor and council of the Borough of Elmwood Park that the appointment of Donald Ingrassalino to the Board of Adjustment for a period of 4 years, term ending December 31st, 2017 be, and the same is hereby confirmed.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Mr. Dombrowski, second. Mr. Catamagna, discussion? Call a roll.
Did you say discussion?
I said discussion.
Excuse me, Mayor, I didn't hear that. If I may?
Oh, you want to discuss?
I want to discuss. From what I understand, the board member that's being replaced, Byron Morgan, who I know very well, as I know his replacement very well, two good gentlemen and qualified, but he wanted to stay on for another term. and that's not going to happen here. He's going to be replaced by Mr. Inglasolino. I would have liked to seen a vacancy come up, and then Mr. Inglasolino come on board. So that's how I feel about the subject here.
Any other comments? Mr. Grassolino's here, former police chief replacing former police chief. So, how can you complain? Call the roll, please.
On roll call, council members Coletti,
Abstain?
Dombrowski,
Yes.
Martino,
Yes.
Pettigano,
Yes.
Bonsino,
Yes.
Catamania.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes,
Mrs. Proctor's here too. She's right there.
where is she? Oh, please stand. Thank you.
Resolution R75-14, appointment of library board member. Be it resolved by the mayor and council of the Borough of Elmwood Park that the appointment of Doris Wexler to the library board for a period of 5 years, term ending December 31st, 2018, be, and the same is hereby confirmed.
Motion, please.
So move.
Mr. Catamania, second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Pettigano, discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mayor, if I may?
Yes.
That time I got in time, right? Okay.
You gotta get under the wire.
Just
Yeah,
a
yeah,
little
so
bit,
quick.
just a little hair over there.
I think this is a good choice. Doris has been on that board before. She's been on the school board, and she's done a good job.
Thank you. Call the roll, please.
On roll call, council members Coletti,
Yes.
Dombrowski,
Yes.
Martino,
Yes.
Pettigano,
Yes.
Bonsino,
Yes.
Catamania.
Yes.
Motion carries. Mayor, under departmental reports, we have the Public Works report for December 2013, Library Board minutes for November 25th, 2013, Municipal Court report for November 2013, Building Department report for November 2013, and Building Department inspection report from November 1st, 2013 through December 31st, 2013.
Include the applications.
Can we do them separately? Only because I have to certify the applications to legalize gaming.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Mr. Dombrowski, second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Pettigano, discussion? All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed, so ordered.
And Mayor, under applications, we have the American Legion Post 147 bingo application and the PTSA for Saddlebrook High School bingo application. That raffle will actually take place in Elmwood Park.
Motion, please, on the applications.
So move.
Mr. Bonsino?
Second.
Mr. Pettigano? Martino?
It's all right. You got 3 years.
You're going to have to speak up louder. Call the roll, please.
Council members Coletti,
Yes.
Dombrowski,
Yes.
Martino,
Yes.
Pettigano,
Yes.
Monsino,
Yes.
Catamania.
Yes.
Motion carries. Mayor, that concludes my portion of the agenda.
Thank you. Committee reports, please. Mr. Catamania, we'll start from the right.
Thank you, Mayor. I attended the Board of Education meeting on January 28th, the same day the referendum going on. And during the meeting, many students were recognized for their sports achievements. It was mainly volleyball and football. And some of the kids, I have the names here. I have Brian Alfieri, Michael Dare, Michael Sistaro, Richard De Siervo, Kevin Stark, and Brendo Velez. Also, Mr. Tamco, congratulate the student of the month from each school. I guess after the meeting, everybody was waiting for the referendum, and everybody knows the referendum passed. It was a good idea. I was for that, and now we'll see the school be improved. We need that. As I said before, I worked over there 13 years. The windows need to be replaced. There's a lot of cold air comes in. I think by doing so, we can save a lot of energy. And many other things. The roof, maybe they will remove the pants from the hallways. It's also dangerous. Kids just slide on that. All right, it was a good idea, and I thank everybody for voting for this. Then also, in the planning board, there was only one meeting last Wednesday, one application, number one Broadway. It was a change from, I guess, a doctor from one office went to the other office. And was very easy application. Everybody vote for it. But one thing I'd like to, in the near future, I'd like to discuss that maybe instead of having 10,000 square feet. In order for someone to have a container CO, if it's within 10,000 square feet, it's okay. I'd like to expand that. I don't see the reason why. Why this guy had to go before the board, I don't understand. I think if it's 30,000, this shouldn't make any difference. I like to look at the ordinance, and I like to go over this. I like to improve. The last thing I have, Mayor, is I met with Mr. Rigodano and Paul Lurch. We discussed the budget. Looks very good. But Mr. Rigodano will be with us next week at the closed meeting. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Dombrowski.
Okay, on the Board of Health report, in the Elmwood Park Board of Health Department, in conjunction with Hackensack Medical Center, they will be starting every third Tuesday of the month in our Elmwood Park Senior Center, an adult health and wellness program where they will be free blood pressure assessment, body mass index measurements, diabetes risk management, stress management, health education, and community resources. Anybody all residents of Elmwood Park are welcome to go down on the third Tuesday of every month between 9:30 a.m. and 11:30 a.m. to the Senior Center and meet with members of the Board of Health as well as the Hackensack University Medical Center and take advantage of this opportunity from our health department. On a side note, Mr. Mayor, I would like to wish our varsity cheerleader girls from Elmwood Park well. They left today for New Orleans to go after a national championship in cheerleading. We got to see their routine last night. I'm very proud of these young ladies. They're great ambassadors of Elmwood Park, and I wish them well. They'll be competing on Saturday and Sunday of this weekend, and hopefully they'll be coming home with the gold. So we would like to congratulate our young ladies and being great ambassadors of Elmwood Park, and we thank them. Progress.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Valencino?
Yes, Mayor, thank you. In the news recently, it was 50 years ago, 1964, that the Beatles arrived in the U.S. for their first American tour and appearances on the Ed Sullivan Show that transformed popular music. I'm looking at the faces now and they're saying, where is he going with this? But it was also 50 years ago, a borough resident named Betty McDonald established a volunteer ambulance corps in our community, transforming emergency medical services in our borough. Earlier this month, members of the mayor and council celebrated with the corps at their installation dinner dance. Much has changed in 50 years from the training, the vehicles, the technology that's used. But one thing remains constant is the selfless dedication and professionalism of the men and women who volunteer their time to this community and to this endeavor. I think at times we take for granted this service within our community, partly because we just expect an ambulance to be there when we need it, but probably, most likely, because we don't want to think of a time when we're sick or injured. I know that firsthand. One day, many years ago, I needed an ambulance. Two women, strangers to me then, they showed up within minutes. While I was grateful for their quick response, I wondered what part of their life was put on hold to attend to me. This service inspired me to submit an application for membership back then. Today's Corps responds to over 1,200 calls annually, and an order of magnitude more than that in man-hours of their time. In today's time, work and family commitments strain the membership ranks, who strive to maintain the required training and maintain the level of service while striking a balance with their personal life. If you are considering a way to serve your community, consider volunteering. Not only will you be filling a significant need for our borough, the skills you'll acquire will last you a lifetime. If I piqued your interest, then visit www.epvac.com and download an application. To the Corps, congratulations on your 50th anniversary. I wish you continued success in the service to the residents of Elmwood Park. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Martino?
Well, the weather has affected the homeowners' meetings for the past month, but I can tell you on the 26th, The two representatives from BioReference will be at the meeting to discuss their things in the community, what they can do, what they can't do, how they can help us. I want to comment on what Mr. Dombrowski said. The girls, yes, they're in New Orleans, but my daughter will be also cheering for national competition with the Bombers cheerleaders, March 7th, 8th, and 9th at Hershey Park in Pennsylvania. So hopefully they'll do well. And I did need the EMTs that Mr. Bonsino just mentioned 2 weeks ago. So I have firsthand knowledge that they were very helpful. It was a snow day, and unfortunately, they went over so many bumps that I got sicker, but it wasn't their fault. But I do appreciate them being here, because I think without them, our community would be in big trouble. So with that, I send it over to Mr. Pedagano.
I think that's the mayor's job, isn't it?
Well, he'd been calling me you name anyway, so.
That's true.
You're losing control over that, man. That side's trouble.
You gonna
Thank
stay
you.
for that?
No, he can send it over. He can send, as long as he doesn't text it, because there's a law against that. Mr. Pedagano being sent over by Mr. Martino.
Thank you, Mayor. The Recreation Department just is almost done with their new kitchen. I was there today. It looks great. A couple issues, delayed parts, stuck in the storm. But all in all, it's very clean, very appealing, and I want to thank the county for helping us out with that. Also, the basketball program for the kids was very, very successful, and I want to commend the commission and Donna Pugliese and all the work they've done in attracting all these children. I think there were near 80 children this year, when they were down to about 20 a couple of years ago. Also, spring break is coming up, and or vacation camp, and that's $150 per child. That's April 21st to the 25th. It'll be at 8:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Children must bring their lunch, but you can come down and talk the details over when signing up, and you can register at communitypass.net/Elmwood Park. Also, the Rec Department will be hosting a Radio City Music Hall show, a bus trip. It'll be $100, limited to 50 people. That'll be May 1st, that's a Thursday. You get to see the Rockettes and Hearts and Lights, which is a show, I believe. So anybody interested in that, please contact the Rec. More information is 201-796-1457, extension 350. And just a word about the snow. We're pretty tired of it, and hopefully we're winding down. We had a few issues with clearing of the streets. We got hit with all that wet snow, which froze, which inhibited the plows from actually getting closer to the curb at many points. So please drive around town very carefully. We have some tight spots. We're also going to have a meeting, and we're going to discuss these issues over the next couple weeks, so that hopefully next year we can have a maybe a different strategy, maybe a better strategy. But we do have to avoid some of the stress on our residents, because we've had a few people go a little ballistic out there, and I can understand that. It's very frustrating. So please move. If we do have another storm, please move your car. If you hear the plow come, take a ride around the block. Your spot will be nice and clear then. Also, congratulations to the ambulance corps. I have to commend them on their attracting such young kids doing this work. I have to commend the officers of the ambulance corps for their enthusiasm and making it fun for them. And it's very difficult to hold on to people in these positions. They're volunteer, you get out of bed in the middle of the night. It's not easy working for free. But this all translates to a very professional core, and that's what we have. And that's it. Thank you very much, Mayor.
Flipping it to me?
I don't know if I have that power.
Thank you. Mr. Coletti?
Yes. Good luck to the Bomber cheerleaders. Regarding our JIF, our Joint Insurance Fund, subsequently, they are expecting to be inundated with claims due to the harsh winter, could be expected. Not to worry, there's an ample surplus at hand. And pursuant to our fire department, our new fire hydrant location plan is at hand. Hallelujah. And speaking of fire hydrants, if you have a fire hydrant that borders your property, by law, you are required to keep open and clear from snow. If you are handicapped or unable to do so, speak to an able neighbor to help out. And I can't express how important it is. We have over 500 fire hydrants, and we can't have them under snow, naturally for the safety of the town. Mayor?
Thank you. Mr. Randazzo?
Thank you, Mayor. The only two matters I'm at liberty to discuss in open session is the Market and Boulevard improvements. I'm going to be making an application before the planning board for site plan approval. It's my understanding, maybe last year, the mayor and council voted to, in conjunction with the county, expand the intersection, and a piece of the two property owners' property was taken. I think one was settled for $20,000, and the town agreed, and I think one was $15,000. However, the town's responsible for making the application before the planning board. That's
Thank
all
you.
I have, Mayor.
What was indicated is the corner of Market Street and the Boulevard. We're widening that, and we had to go into some legal situation to get some of that property so that we can widen that intersection. In my report, I'd just like to, again, wish the cheerleaders good luck. I had 3 daughters, all cheerleaders. One went on to become a professional with the Nets. One was with the Generals when the Generals was a professional football team. And the other one got married. So I'm well aware of cheerleaders. My second floor still bounces from them. They do a great job. And I do have to indicate, and I'm proud of this, we have an Athletic Hall of Fame in Elmwood Park. Cheerleaders are now in that Athletic Hall of Fame. They do as much work, if not more, than some of the fellas do in any of the sports. So I commend them and I wish them luck also. Snow removal, I think Mr. Pedagano indicated they try as hard as they can. We have a limited amount of men. They're only allowed to work so many hours before you have to give them a break. And if the public would work with us, remove their cars, it would be a lot better for everybody in town. We had to cancel a council meeting 2 weeks ago. We have Councilman Martino and Councilman Dombrowski, who are here this evening, and I thank them for doing that. Both of them are suffering from an ailment I won't go into, but I'm pleased that you're here.
Thank you.
And they're still suffering from it and still have to go for some treatments on that. We had our work meeting canceled because of the snow. I was in church yesterday hoping for more snow so we can cancel this meeting. No. But we didn't have a meeting before that, so we've had 3 consecutive Thursdays without a meeting. So if you're looking for something on our website or on the TV, you're not going to find it. Some sad news. We had a water increase. It's been with us for 5 years, keeps going up. There's another 5% water increase to our residents from the Passaic Valley Water Commission. We have nothing to do with that. There'll probably be a resolution that we have to pass just covering the 5%. They raise us 5%, we raise the public and the businesses 5%. So that would have to be taken care of. We did have a parking ordinance on for snow removal. We're going back to the old ordinance we had where it just said no parking this side of the street. We had first reading 4 weeks ago, and then we were out 2 weeks, so now we have to reintroduce it. And hopefully by the time 2 more weeks have gone by, we're not going to have any more snow. But that's been part of the problem. We tried it for 2 years, and the council has decided that maybe we ought to go back to the old one, and people understand that a little bit better. There were no applications with the planning board, just that one that Mr. Caramagna mentioned. And as far as I know, there were no applications this past month for the zoning board. So we have that, nothing's happening in that area. Other than that, I'm going to open the meeting to the public. May I have a motion to do so?
So, Mayor,
Mr.
I just want to remind everyone, this Saturday is the last day for the baseball signups. They've kept on extending it because of the weather.
Yes.
But they were there Wednesday, and they're going to be there Saturday morning from 9 to 1. So if anybody has a sign up, you can do it either online or go to the rec field house. They're going to be there to try to sign up the kids. I know it's hard to think about it with all the snow on the ground, but a month from now, we're going to be wondering, how come we didn't sign up? And Saturday is the last date that we can sign up.
Thank you.
Sorry, I didn't remember before. I
Thank you.
apologize.
May I have a motion open to the public, please?
So moved.
Mr. Coletti and Bonsino, any discussion? All in favor, so voted. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any comments, please come to the microphone and give us your name and address.
Mayor Council, Tom Barillo, 99 Elton Drive, Elmwood Park. I got a question. I heard we're buying a new sweeper in town for like $190,000 or something like that. $192,000?
That was awarded tonight.
It was awarded tonight. Did anybody look into like maybe privatizing the sweeper? This way you don't have to, pay for the maintenance and the fuel, and when we're not using it, you don't have to worry about it. When a guy's on vacation, the sweeper doesn't go out normally.
Right.
All right. So we have one guy we're paying salary, and we're going to buy a machine, maintain it. Well, you probably privatize it for under $100,000 a year, maybe.
We can look into it.
No, I'm asking. Anybody look into privatizing it?
We looked into it in the past.
When did you look into it?
I don't remember.
You don't remember? Is it on record?
Oh, I don't know.
Mr. Kazmark, is it on record that you looked into it?
The DPW superintendent did speak to other municipalities. How in-depth that discussion was, I'm not aware.
Okay.
But his recommendation was to go out to bid for a street sweeper, and last year, the council put the funding in place to do that.
But what I'm trying to get at is, do we need it all the time? Do we have to man it all the time, maintain it? I mean, in Sandy, I was out there in Sandy, they were in front of my house with the wheel loader, and the thing was squeaking with no grease in it. I asked the operator what was going on. He says, nobody maintains it. Okay? I mean, the grass cutting too in town, when the guys are on vacation, the parks don't get cut for 2 weeks. Is there an ordinance, like you have to have your lawn cut, to a certain height? Maybe we should privatize the grass cutting.
We did that in the past.
We did it in the past, and it worked out very well. It got cut every week, the lawns. The fields and everything got cut every week.
That's right.
All right, and they were perfect.
That's right.
Now, it went back to the town doing it, and when guys are on vacation, it doesn't get done. Okay? Now, the same thing, like somebody commented about the snow plowing, I think you did, Mayor, we're undermanned or whatever. Do you think about privatizing that maybe, bringing backup in, like other towns do?
That would be very expensive.
Not very expensive. You figure out the fuel, the maintenance on the equipment, and the driver that the town's paying, and then you send it out to bid to a couple of private companies, maybe $150 an hour or something like that. We don't have to worry about the maintenance on the equipment.
Council could look into it.
We should look into a lot of this stuff.
Yep.
All right? It's about time, because we're wasting a lot of money in this town. All right? I mean, through the fall, we couldn't even get the leaves picked up on time. There was areas that weren't getting picked up on their daily route. What's that all about? We used to have one of the best leaf collections in the area years ago. Now, this past fall, I'd be asking Mr. Kazmark what's going on. He didn't have an answer. You have piles sitting there for 2 weeks at a time. I don't understand it. Maybe it's time for a shake-up somewhere. I don't know. As far as a sweeper, you're spending $192,000 and you're going to maintain it and put a driver in it for $100,000 a year? Come on, guys. You can probably get it done for under $100,000 a year, just like Garfield does. They love it over there. If you ask Mr. Dutch, he loves it over there. And the guys, they love it, It's cheaper that way.
Thank you.
Instead of, telling everybody this and that, you should look into a few different things. Thank you.
Anyone else who wishes to be heard? Yes, ma'am.
Carolyn Cisco Smith. I live at 328 Gilbert Ave. I understand that the woods is Bergen County property now. They were there on Tuesday plowing the sidewalks. You guys should walk over there because it's horrendous. On East 54th Street, the Boulevard, and Gilbert Ave. There's kids that walk there on school. You can't even walk. People are walking in the roads. I understand it's Bergen County, but it's your residents that are walking there, and the kids. The ice is this thick. What the hell did they do?
I don't know what the hell they did, but we don't use that language in the council chamber.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm only joking with you. Let me indicate to you that we will contact Bergen County. I know after the first snowstorm, they did plow the sidewalks.
And that was a joke also.
Well,
Mr. Mayor, if I may, I actually contacted freeholder Steve Tonelli yesterday, and as you mentioned, I was concerned, as you said, with the residents walking on the street. He tried to send a crew there yesterday. Again, unfortunately, after the snow and the rain, it all became ice. And the section of the sidewalk, it is horrendous. It's unfortunately, we have to throw some salt down, wait for the spring to come in order for some of this to go away. But I did contact freeholder Tonelli. He did get back to me saying that he's working on it. It's unfortunate. This particular last snowstorm was crazy because of the snow, the rain, and then the snow again. It made it very difficult. And unfortunately, if you didn't get to the snow immediately after it started to rain, it was pretty much impassable. But we do understand. I understand what you're coming to us for. Okay.
thank you. Somebody with a short question? We only have 5 minutes before we have to change the tape. Anybody with a short question?
Change the tape.
Can you change it now?
Yes.
Okay. We'll have a short recess. Anyone in the audience who wishes to speak? Anyone in the audience wishes to speak? Come up, please.
My name's Steve Backer. I'm on Lincoln Avenue. A couple of little concerns. When it snows and the snow stops, how long does a resident have to shovel their sidewalks?
I believe it's 72 hours. I'm not absolutely sure.
There's still some sidewalks not shoveled. I walk my dog. I gotta walk in the street.
Okay.
Which is a safety hazard.
Yeah, just call my office tomorrow. Give us the numbers of the house. Some of these houses aren't even occupied. They were owned, but someone passed away and his family have it. I know I called up two of them, I believe. I called up the people who have the signs, house for sale. They came down and shoveled them. So let my office know. We'll do that.
My other concern, like he had mentioned the fire hydrants. Do the residents that live by fire hydrants know they gotta clear that out?
Do they what?
Do they know they're liable to clear that spot?
They should know. It's a state law, but we'll...
Would it be feasible to send them letters or something?
Well, through you...
They do.
Liability to clear that fire hydrant could save somebody's life.
If I may, Mayor.
Yes.
The fire department does send letters during the summer to these people that border the fire hydrants. We also have it in our Waste Watchers book, the announcement that you are liable for the clearing of that fire hydrant during the snowstorm.
And through you, Mayor,
A lot of them are not clear.
Mr. Backer, it's also included in each of the chief's reverse 911 calls that go out during snowstorms. That's one of the lines that he has in there, that the homeowner is responsible for cleaning out the fire hydrant.
Okay, because a lot of them are not cleared out.
Yeah.
And one other concern, no offense to you, Joe, because you're on the corner, but on corner houses, are the business supposed to open that corner up so people can walk through?
Sure.
I guess so, yes.
Well, nothing's done. You can't, if you want to walk across the street, you gotta go into somebody's yard and walk the boulevard. Yeah, I think you should start enforcing it, that people have to open corners.
We can try getting that across to them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jeffrey Fontaine, 35 Holland Drive. Regarding the snow. One of the issues that come up with Swift Reach notification I have a neighbor who lives across the street from me, and now this is proliferating because as younger people move into the community, a lot of people don't have a landline phone. A lot of people have cell phones. It's, I think, a public notification system or some way notifying the public that they need to get their number recorded so Swift Reach can reach them. If there's an emergency or anything like that. Because I believe that if you have a cell phone only and not a landline phone, it won't notice you. Is that correct? Unless you register.
Anyone can register through the link that's on the Elmwood Park website, even folks from out of town. We've had people call our office who have parents that live in Elmwood Park, but they live in another municipality, and they want the notification so that they can relay the information to their parents. So anybody can sign up their phone number. However, the static phone numbers are whatever Swift Reach is able to buy from the data company. So primarily, that would be landlines. If people would like to register their cell phone numbers, they have that ability to go online and do so.
Although that's nice, a lot of people don't do it. And I mean, in some way, I know we have the sign on the boulevard, maybe that way could be utilized, we would put on there, please register for Swift Reach, www, whatever, because I think a lot of people, first of all, don't read the Waste Watchers book. I do.
Oh, no, I think everybody reads the Waste Watchers book. Don't say that. They really should. Don't say they shouldn't. Those are the people who will park on a street regardless of what you tell them.
Okay.
And I think when
and I hope the police ticket them too then, right?
Oh, they do ticket. By the way, if you don't see a ticket on the car, police can take their license number and mail them the ticket.
There was one sitting in front of 16th Avenue School for a long time.
Well, then call my office and we'll get it out. Call the
police. I know you
police.
say that, and I don't want to go back and forth, but you say call your office. Why should I have to do that? The police ride up and down, don't they see this? And that's the situation. But that's fine.
Okay.
Mr. Freitag, I could appreciate what you're saying, but I think it's also important to understand that the police are not only going out there and ticketing the vehicles that are on the streets illegally or parked illegally. In many cases, they'll ask the resident to move the car before they ticket it if they see the resident. We're not certainly looking to just ticket randomly.
This was for many days.
I understand, but the problem is also too that the police department is not only, as I said, looking to for the violators, but they're also responding to the 911 calls. And quite frankly, when there's a snowstorm, there's quite a few 911 calls that come into our facility because people have heart-related issues due to, and we only have a certain amount of police officers on the street at any one given time. And also, ladies and gentlemen, we have 57 miles worth of roads in Elmwood Park. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Mayor, but I believe
43.
it's 57. I'm sorry?
43.
I apologize. It's 43 miles of roads in Elmwood Park. For the DPW, that makes it 86 because you got to do both sides.
And the middle.
80. Okay, there you go, in the middle. So, my point is that we have a lot of roadway in Elmwood Park. As a citizen, if you see your neighbor parking illegally, please call it in. It's not that you're ratty. Listen, we want safe streets. We want safe streets. If the unfortunate part is, and I got to be honest with you, it happens on my block. It happens on many blocks where, the truck comes down the street, and then the next thing you see the guy blowing the snow into the street. And I've actually stopped and said to one of my neighbors, "You know that's illegal." And it goes in one ear and out the other.
When is it illegal to put the snow in the street, by the way?
Why is it illegal?
When?
All the time.
Anytime.
No, it's not. If you read the Waste Watchers book, it says if you do it after the truck comes by.
I don't know if anybody's going to do it before the truck comes by, but if they do it before the truck comes by, the truck's going to plow
comes back
the way.
and plows it back onto their property again. So, all I'm trying to say is I'm not making any excuses for our police department, but I have to say that the young ladies and the men of our department are working very hard to maintain. I can tell you that we've had a record number of summonses issued this past snowstorm, as well as cars being towed. It may not have happened on your street, and it may not have happened on 16th Ave, but it's happened in Elmwood Park. But again, I ask that the community actually get together if you see a neighbor doing something illegal or not moving their car, please ask him to move it. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, we're not looking to make any bad blood between neighbors, but it is our responsibility as a community to make sure that our community stays safe.
Okay, well, actually, what I came up here was to talk about the Swift Reach thing, and that kind of drifted away from that.
Right.
But again, I had mentioned at a couple of meetings ago regarding when it was first introduced to go back to the old way of the parking. I still sort of think that it should be seriously considered that we do alternate side of the street parking. It would be a simple solution. It would be a solution that would make people move their cars. It would be just something simple to do. And it seems that if the entire town went to that, it might make things simple.
Are you saying every day, or are you just saying during snow?
All the time. The streets could be swept. It would make it simple. It's simple to understand. Many cities do it. Cities also suspend it at certain times. But it just seems that it's something that should be considered. I know that I had spoken with Mr. Kazmark about, at a meeting about some of the things I thought there were mistakes. And I think you had mentioned that it was somewhat out of position as it had been printed up. But I know, for instance, my street, it says that you can't park on either side of the street. And that's not the way it was. And I've lived there since 1978. And when the first time it was instituted about the parking, this side and that side, and we could only park on one side, it was one side, not the whole street. And I like it this way because I have a place to park. But that being said, I think it's something that should be looked into and maybe considered. It would allow for street sweeping on a regular basis. And I think it would be easy to understand. And now I think the way the signs are written, it's a little difficult. I also wonder what happens between the 2 hours between 8 and 10.
It's going to be changed.
Yeah.
That's going to be changed.
I understand, but I think what I'm suggesting, and again, you gentlemen will make the decision ultimately, and again, it's got to be reintroduced, I think you said, right, the ordinance, that it be considered. The other thing is about the fire hydrant. I do have a fire hydrant in front of my house. I have never received a letter or anything. I always shovel it. And I did read the Waste Watchers book, and it said it's supposed to be 5 feet on either side. I'll tell you one thing, it's a lot of shoveling. I don't keep it 5 feet, but you can get in there. And I think a 500-pound man could get in there with about 2 feet on each side.
Jeff, what I think happens there is you start off at 5, knowing it's going to be reduced to 4 and actually be cut maybe to 3 or 2. So, the access, I think the operative word here is access to it.
Yeah, and, but like I said, I've never received a letter from anyone. I know I've read it, and in fact, my neighbor, when I first moved there, told me it's your duty to do it, and I always said, yeah, he's right. And I did have a fire at my house one time, but it was during the summer, so it didn't matter, but I always keep that in mind, that it is a good thing to do.
Well, we actually saw that your fire hydrant was always clean, that's why we didn't spend the money on the letter.
I hope the town buys forever stamps.
Thank you.
One of the things that I would like to say is, I'm sure the fire department does know where the fire hydrants are, but it's so high right now, the snow. If there was, I know some towns have a long pole or something like that.
We do have them out there.
Mayor, through you on that, we actually just finalized our fire hydrant map, and we have an Eagle Scout who has come to my office with Phil Chesky and is looking to paint the cross on the street, pointing to each fire hydrant throughout the borough. So we're working to get that accomplished through an
This type of cross or this type?
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would be heard? If not, I'll close the public portion of the meeting.
2 more.
Oh, Jesus.
George Nestori, 2 Sable Court. Just have a few things. I think Jeff just mentioned it. I was going to suggest the poles on the fire plugs, so we know where they are, exactly where they are, so when the plows come through or whoever shovels, make sure that they don't cover these poles, these fire plugs. I think that's very, very important. Most towns have that. The robocalls, I think that's an excellent idea. It seems to have worked because some of the cars that were parked on the street removed after the robocalls come in. But I think Jeff brought up, or somebody brought up, whoever it was, that if you have a cell phone and not a landline in your home, they don't get the message. So somehow that's got to be taken care of. I think resident parking will help drastically in a lot of respects. And finally, we had some, my neighbors were telling me that somebody's parking on our street from another street and leaves his car there. So resident parking will alleviate a tremendous amount of ills. Now that we have a different majority on the council, I know that they will be amenable to some of these issues, and hopefully we can look at some of these towns that have it, are very pleased with it, and you would actually eliminate the cost of extra garbage, extra sewers, and if there's extra students going to school, that would be called out. I'd like to, at this point, commend Frank Caramagna, who just retired from the school system. I don't know if it was brought up, but he was an excellent teacher. I know because I did some substitute teaching, and I know how popular he was, how dedicated he was, and he did a tremendous amount of good for the kids. He used to have, every year, he used to have the trip to Italy, and used to have 30, might write 30 students, 25, 30, that's a tremendous achievement. And his classes were always overbooked. And I know kids who tried to get in his class or got in his class. So I'd like to, at this point, whether, I don't know if the council wants to commend it, but I'd like to go publicly and I commend Frank for the great work he did for our school system and with the kids that really loved him, that had him as a teacher. Now, signs are illegible in some respects.
Thank you, George.
Where they say no parking when snow covered. I got one on Sable Court that you can't even make out what it says.
George, may I interrupt you?
Yeah.
We're going back to the old signs. So we know there's a problem with those signs. We're going back to the sign that says no parking when street is snow covered, period.
Yeah, but I was just saying you can't even see the sign.
They're coming down.
That's
Those
why
signs
we're
will be coming
changing
down.
it.
Well, that's good. And just to mention again, which I mentioned before, we got to look at the sewer lines, maybe with the new engineer and the new majority, we can maybe save a lot of money with the infiltration into the sewer lines. Because there's some areas that they're broken, and when the water table rises, it goes in, and it's costing the taxpayers a tremendous amount of money. So maybe we can check them out on a yearly basis, take a section and just, what do you call it, put the TV camera through. Maybe we can find some people who are illegally dumping their pumps into the sewer lines. And I don't know what you have scheduled for the brook this spring, but I'm afraid that there's going to be a lot of, with all the snow, we're going to have saturation. And if we get a tremendous amount of rain in April, at the end of March and April, we might have major problems. So I hope you guys would look into having, you know, to make sure that the Fleischer's Brook is working and cleaned and policed. That's it. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Anyone else who wish to be heard? Under normal circumstances, we only allow one per family, but today is...
How do you know that she's from the same family?
That's what I said, under normal circumstances.
He knows us many, many years. I'm Kathleen Backer, 257 Lincoln Avenue, Joe's neighbor. I came tonight to my concern with the parking, with the snow, but Mayor, thank you so kindly for saying you're going to go back to the old system. I've been in town for 31 years and that system worked. This doesn't, obviously we could see that with the past couple of storms. My concern was Tuesday evening, my son was coming home from work, coming down Lincoln Avenue. He couldn't fit through 2 cars that were parked on either side of the street. My concern right away was, what if an emergency vehicle and ambulance had to get through? What are they going to do, back up and have to go back to the boulevard and come around 54 to get back up to Lincoln to get to that house? Or a fire truck? That was my concern. But I have to commend the mayor and the board for going back to switching it.
Thank
the way
you.
it used to be.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
If there's no one else in the audience, I'd like to, we do have somebody. By the way, I see Doris Wexler, who's the new member of the library board. Doris, will you please stand? Thank you.
Sandy Balistreri, 141 Willow Street. I mentioned to you a couple times, Mayor, over the last couple of years, and now maybe I'm missing it out there, but I know 2 or 3 years ago, the Eagle Scout plaque with all the Eagle Scouts of Elmwood Park came down because it was being repaired. I don't know, unless it's put in a different part of the building.
You know,
I've never seen it go back up.
I'm glad you asked that question, because they took the plaque. They can't hear you. No, let one person talk. They took that plaque down to repair it or something, and they never brought it back again. You're absolutely right.
2 or 3 years at least.
Yeah.
It's still not.
I'll have to inquire a little bit more as to where it is
We
now.
talked about it a couple times.
Absolutely.
It's a shame that it
You're right.
went back up again. And
Yeah.
then I thought, well, maybe you guys moved it somewhere.
No, we didn't take it. They took it for some reason.
So you could find out about that?
Yeah.
Thank you.
If I can. Yes.
On the Eagle Scout plaque that was taken out to be repaired, I'm almost sure I know who has it. It's a man called Kenny Keita. He was the one who had taken it down to repair it.
Do you know him?
I'm not in contact with him anymore.
Contact the clerk tomorrow and see if we can find.
Because I told him one thing, he says, yeah, I gotta get it fixed and bring it back.
Yeah.
So I was up there, I always like to look at, see who's made Eagle.
Right.
I was driving around scouting.
You're right.
And he said, he's gonna have it fixed. So this is the last time I knew he had it.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you. No other people want any questions? I'll close the public portion of the meeting. May I have a motion to adjourn, please?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Dombrowski, 2 sick guys, Mr. Dombrowski and Mr. Martino.
But we're here.
Okay.
It's that voodoo doll, Mr. Mayor.
All in favor? What's that?
It's that voodoo doll that you're sticking the pins into.
I think we're going to have a big discussion.
Good night, everybody.
We were talking to make sure that,